I'm going to talk about 50 Shades Freed, this piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm curious, man. Let's find out.
Yeah, so this is my first 50 Shades movie. I watched like a little bit of the first one, like the last 40 minutes just recently. Like it was on USA, and I was watching like the last
What is wrong with you?
40 minutes of just to see like, okay, what it is. And I was laughing at it. I was like, this is really stupid. This is really bad. Dialogue is awful. Acting is awful. This is corny.
The only time you watch that movie is when your girl drags you there on Valentine's Day. There's no reason to watch that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't see how women are really into this. I don't get it. Cause
it's like Kama Sutras, and it's like all this stuff is kind of the same thing when it comes to women. It's like, oh, he's so I don't even know no word to say for it. Like, yeah, he's doing these things and he's kinky and yeah, why don't you do that in the bed? I'm like, want me to tie you up and smack you or some shit? What?
Yeah, because I mean the thing is, I mean the when I was watching it, I was like, this ain't really that intense. You know what I mean? Like the scenes like where they're there in the room, or they call it the red room or something like that.
Yeah, he's got like a dungeon, right?
Yeah, like okay, he ties up, spanks her a little bit. Like there's a scene like in the first movie. I was watching like the last 40 minutes of it. Okay. There's a scene of it where because they break up at the end of it, and then they break up. She gets real upset because she asks for him to show her how bad it can get, like show me how evil you can get or something like that. And then so he takes out a belt and hits her with it. It doesn't seem like he's hitting her that hard, one. And it's like, okay, hitting somebody with a belt, like, is that really that like effed up? Is that really that messed up that's so serious? And then when she,
well, in modern day, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're just like me. We used to get whoopings when we were children.
Right,
like, in modern day, that's oh my God, he's whooping her.
But I mean, he whips her 6 times and she gets real upset and crying. I'm like, well, you asked for him to do it, one, and then they break up, and then she storms out in a huff, and then they break up, and then so I was like, okay, this doesn't seem that intense. And then a lot of the sex scenes here, because this movie ain't nothing but sex scenes. I mean, it's dialogue, sex scene, dialogue, sex scene. Like there's countless numbers of sex scenes in this movie out of nowhere. They just have sex out of nowhere. And it is some of the most uninteresting sex I've ever seen in my whole fucking life. Because I was like, this shit is not intense at all. I was like, this shit is boring as hell. And, just to set up so what's happened in this movie, in 50 Shades Freed, so they finally get married. Anastasia and Christian, they finally get married. But the crazy dude from the second movie, Jack Hyde, which I never saw a second movie, but he was her boss in the second movie. And he was apparently stalking her and was sexually obsessed with her. Like, that's also another thing. Like, the fact that all these dudes, like Christian Grey and her friend Jose, they're all like really, and then this dude Jack Hyde, they're all sexually obsessed with this woman. I'm like, no fucking way. I don't buy that. I was like, this is kind of ridiculous. This plain looking vanilla ass woman. I was like, ain't no way all these dudes thirsting after. And then the dude in this movie, Jack Hyde, because he's after her now. Okay. He looks crazy as a motherfucker. Like, his eyes all dried out. Like, he looks like he's been
dried out.
Like he looks like he's been in the desert for like 8 years or some shit. Like,
is it supposed to be the opposite? Like, his eyes are all glossy or something like that?
No, like, he looks crazy as a motherfucker, man. Like, he looks just really villainous, man. I mean, this looks crazy as hell. The fact that everybody's after this one woman, to me, is ridiculous. And I think they explained it in the second one, like why he's into such mousy looking women. And so I think they explained it in the second one. Somebody told me that. I don't know if that's true. I never seen it. I ain't gonna see the second one.
I don't blame you.
That's not gonna happen. But the thing is, when I like, if I'm telling the setup of the film, like, oh, hey, this crazy guy, this revenge, he wants to get revenge on her because he thinks she ruined his life and he wants to get back at her and kill her. Like, that kind of sounds kind of intense. Like, you think something's gonna happen. Not a goddamn thing happens in this. Like, how you make that shit dull? Like, this shit is dull. Like, the fact that this killer is coming after them is the dullest thing in the world. Like, you can have some fun trash. Like, you can have a movie like Unforgettable or Obsessed that, okay, that's like stalker movies and that's kind of fun. It's bad, but it's still kind of, you can enjoy it on a bad movie, type level that's you can laugh at. This one, I'm laughing at it, but it's just such a slog to get through. I mean, this movie's an hour and 40-something minutes, but it feels like this movie's 2+ hours because it's them doing awful dialogue with awful acting. Christian Grey, he's still creepy as a motherfucker. Like, he was creepy. I was watching the first film. He's creepy as hell in that. He's creepy as hell in this too. Like, for instance, there's a scene in the movie where, after they get married, she goes back to work. Which if I worked there, by the way, I'd be mad as hell at this girl because she runs the company now. The company that the old dude Jack Hyde used to work for. She took over his position, so she's the new boss. And then she says, "Well, I don't know if I really deserve to be here. Did I work hard enough?" He says, and then Christian Grey says, "Well, of course you did. You worked hard." It's like, no, she didn't. She just sucked your dick and you gave her the position. Like, you did. No, you didn't work hard.
I mean, she worked hard. She worked hard at something.
Yeah, she like worked hard on that dick. That's what she did. I mean, that's all she did. She didn't really work hard to get that position. So it's like, yeah, of course, I'd be mad if I worked there.
Hey, that work put in vacation hours, man.
Because that's just ridiculous. I was like, yeah, I kind of be a little mad, but yeah. So she's at work, and then he shows up because he tried to send her an email, and then he pops up at her job where she's in a meeting and says like, hey, why didn't you, why did I send you an email? And the email kicked back to me. It's like, because it still says your name is Anastasia Steele instead of Anastasia Gray. Like, why didn't you change your name? It's like, you showed up out of your day to pop up on her at her job to complain that you sent her an email and she didn't fucking get it. Like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, your crazy ass did that?
I'm confused on that entire thing. Like, why didn't you know that before?
Because her email was still the same. Because it was at work, her email address is still Anastasia Steele, and she didn't change it.
Okay.
And she didn't change it. And then instead of Anastasia Gray, so he tried to send her an email. And then
Dude, I thought you were saying that her name hadn't changed. Like, legally, her name hadn't changed.
No, legally her name changed, but she didn't do it on her email at work.
Okay.
So he pops up where she works, and where she's having a meeting with somebody who she actually had a meeting with the dude who's Superman and Supergirl, Taylor Hotchner, I think his name is. The dude was Superman on that. I was like, oh, it's Superman. I was like, oh, I know you, bro. And then he leaves the movie quick. You ever see that dude again? And he does that one scene and then he's gone. He's like, oh, I'll leave you two alone then.
And paying me enough for this shit, I'm out.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm gonna get some coffee. I'm getting the fuck out of here. That's the last time you ever see him. But I mean, that's just weird. Like, why are you popping up where she works just to ask her that? That's just weird, bro. Like, you ain't got a company to run. And then he does that like all the time. Like, there's a scene where they're on the beach together, and it's a nude beach, and then it's and then she's decides to take off her top, and then he gets mad about that. Like, why you take off your top? I don't want anybody to look at you. Look, she says it's a nude beach. Like, everybody's got their top on. And I guess it makes a little bit of sense because he's a famous person. He's a rich, famous person, and she's married to him. She's like, well, I guess the photographer's taking pictures of you. I guess that kind of makes sense, a little bit. But it's a new beach, and it's a new beach. Like, I guess that kind of made a little bit, but I'm like, that's still crazy as hell. That like he does stuff like that. He's that possessive, that needy.
Why they at a new beach?
I don't know. Like, this is what he went.
It's like, yeah, let's go to a new beach and not be nude. What?
Yeah, I mean, like, he's just that weird and that possessive. Like, that's just crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like, I think he did similar stuff in the first movie. He would just show up where she worked at. Like, he would do it a lot of time in the first movie. And people think that that's what women want. Women don't want a guy who's that needy and that that kind of possessive like that. Like this,
demanding and all of it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna spoil this movie. This movie's some bullshit. I don't care about spoiling this movie. So if you're really that intense on learning the great final trilogy of 50 Shades of Grey, I'm gonna spoil the hell out of this because like there's a scene. So they say it even in the trailer that she announces she's pregnant. Okay. And then he gets mad about that, like a child. He storms off. She tells her she's pregnant, and then he's like, well, I don't want the child to take you away from me. And to be with me.
What?
Yeah, like he's upset because the reason he doesn't want to have a child with her because he thinks the child would devote too much attention away from him and them having sex.
You do want to have kids someday, right?
Someday, sure.
You don't really sound sure.
You know what I am sure about? That's great steak.
Christian, do you not want to have kids?
Of course. One day, just not now. I'm not ready to share you with anyone.
I'm like, this is the type of dude that you hear about in the news that would murder his whole family just because he didn't tell the family they was in debt, so he killed everybody and killed himself. Like that's that type of dude.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
that would do some crazy shit like that. But yeah, I mean, the whole movie, I was just watching this. I was like, man, ain't nothing I can take away from this that's all that good. And like the villain in the movie, so Jack Hyde, like, okay, like I said, the whole stalker revenge element, that's not played up well at all. And then like there's a scene where he breaks into their house. He's holding her at knife point. And then, she's got security detail, right? Because, they've been receiving threats from him and everything. And then he's got her at knife point to her throat. And then the security team that she's with, they knock him out and go like, okay, and call the police, knock him out. And then for some reason, so when they see him at trial, he's able to post bail. Even though the security people seen him put a knife to her throat, ready to kidnap her. And then the police, he comes in and asks her, he's like, well, hey, just to let you know, like he may get offered bail. And he said that, well, the reason why he broke in was just to talk to you. Like, okay.
Yeah, me and my knife want to talk to you real quick.
Yeah, but he's able to get bail. I'm like, in what fucking universe? Listen, I know this is white privilege and white people ain't get, but in what fucking universe is a dude gonna break into a house, hold somebody at knife point, get ready to kidnap him? The security team has to restrain him, and they tied him to another thing too that he did in the movie because he constantly sabotages like Christian Grey's company and stuff. Like he sabotages something in his company, and they tied him. I think they tied him in that too. How you just gonna let this dude go off with bail? And just like he was able to pay the bail and get off.
Well, you see, man, he's unlocked a new form of white privilege, man. He's gone the Super Saiyan of white privilege.
Yeah, I'm like, that is fucking ridiculous that you're able to let that guy go. I'm like, you can bring him up on numerous charges for doing. I'm like, what kind of Houdini shit is that you just gonna let that guy go on bail? It's like, well, and they say, well, and looking at your record, it's your first offense, so I guess we're gonna give you some bail. We're gonna be a little lenient on you. I'm like, well, hey, I mean, like that's like saying, hey, I ran over a guy. That's my first offense, so I guess you can get bail, get off, sure, why not? I'm like, this is fucking stupid. This is ridiculous.
This is what happens when you get, this is what Movie Pass has done, goddammit.
Yeah, because
why did you watch this shit?
Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, they really gonna let this dude get bail and let him go? Because it's like, well, it's your first time, I mean, yeah, you held somebody at knife point, but I guess you ain't too bad, so let's just let you go. I'm like, that is just ridiculous. I was like, that is just fucking ridiculous to me. And like I said, like it follows the same pattern over and over again. Something happens in a movie, dialogue, they have sex. Dialogue, they have sex. That's constant. It's like I feel like I was watching the movie in a loop. I swear to God, I felt like I was watching that shit in a loop.
I mean, I know it's bullshit. I'm not going to try to defend it, but you say dialogue, they have sex. But it's like same thing in every movie. Dialogue, action. Like.
No, it's like there's important plot points that happen in movies that build upon those plot points, and then something happens that leads up to that. This plot points that happen, then you see it happen, but nothing builds upon that at all. It's just they say something like, oh, this dude is after us. And then, and then you see him getting mad about the stupidest shit. Like, she goes out to lunch with her girlfriends and having a good time. And then he gets mad about that. You know what I mean? I told you to stay home. And all this other stuff. Like, the shit that I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this. I don't give a fuck about shit. Like, he's just a baby. He's an emotional baby. And maybe that could work in a situation in a movie because in a better written movie because he was, an orphan. And he was abandoned by his mother and stuff like that. Like, that's some interesting stuff.
Yeah,
like,
they should tie that in more.
There's nuggets in this movie that is kind of interesting. Like, if you could have somebody talented come in here and do something with it, you could figure it out. And I don't know if they played this out in the second movie, But like there's they find out that so Christian Grey, because he was an orphan, and the dude that was stalking them, like her boss, the evil guy, like he was also an orphan, and they went to the same orphanage together. Like they
Okay.
were actual like orphanage siblings, I guess.
Okay.
But they never knew that. I'm like, how you like? And I guess he says, well, I was too young to remember that. But I'm like, that could be very interesting to play on that. The fact that it's these two orphans, and both of them became kind of successful, like because he ran this big company and made all this money, and so did Christian Grey. But they don't remember that. Like he remembers that they're related. Like the dude, he remembers, but Christian Grey doesn't remember. And it's like, well, what the fuck is even having that point in a story beat in the movie anyway? If you're not gonna do shit with it, I'm like, well, what's the point of that? Like,
I need to just take a picture of my face right now and just post it up on the show.
yeah, cause
Like, no, fuck no. Give your review, goddammit.
yeah, cause I was like, well, what's the point of even doing that if you're not gonna do anything with it? Cause like the dude remembers that they were together, like the villain, he remembers that they used to go to the same orphanage, but Christian Grey doesn't remember. So I was like, what's the point of even doing that? And like you could have did maybe like a single white female type of thing with just the guy, like him wanting to be him, because Christian Grey got the easy life because he got adopted by the rich parents and all that type of stuff, and you know he became super rich. I mean, the guy was really successful too. He ran this company, like this, I guess, magazine or whatever. This
But
newspaper.
he had to like work from the bottom, I'm assuming, or something.
Maybe, yeah, he had to work for the bottom, I guess. And then, but he was making a lot of money too, and eventually he was building himself up, and okay, all that stuff. So, but you could do the thing like he was jealous of him, and you know he wanted more.
Was he okay? So how did they end up in the same office or whatever together? Like, how does this work out? Like, is it him, the guy that was that
He's
knew
the guy, the villain's obsessed with Anastasia. He's obsessed with her.
but her husband, like, how does he get in contact with him to begin with? Like, was he stalking him too, or what?
No, he was just stalking her. Like he just wanted her.
And it's just coincidence.
I guess that's how they played it out. Like it's just coincidence.
Fuck it.
That him in the orphanage, that they were brothers together, because they don't play. They you find out at the very end that it turns out they went to the same orphanage together. But the movie's almost done, and you figure that you find that out. I'm like, what the fuck the point of bringing that up now if you ain't gonna do nothing with it?
So I've always hated you ever since we were a child.
Yeah,
It was you.
yeah, because like he leaves like a message saying like you owe me like a life. At one time he leaves a message like that, and she thought it was directed towards her, but it was more likely directed towards him, because he was the one that got adopted. He was the one that went with the rich parents. So I was like, what the fuck is this? What is this doing now? You ain't doing nothing with it.
Why am I trying to care right now?
Yeah, I mean, listen. If this is your thing, and if you like 50 Shades, then I'm guessing you're gonna like this too. But for me, I was just like, wow, this is awful. And then you see her at the end. She has a kid, and they have like a 2-year-old, and then she's pregnant, so they have a kid on the way. And then you see them there, like, which I don't know. I mean, I feel bad for just them kids, like these two crazy motherfuckers having children together. I'm like, I wouldn't want these people as my parents.
Well, forget about the kids, man. What about us? Is there going to be another movie?
I bet you there's probably gonna be like a TV show. I bet you.
A TV show?
I don't know that for sure, but I'm just guessing. I bet you that's probably gonna be it. Cause like maybe continue like with them in their life as parents or something like that. Cause you're trying to milk this all it's worth. This movie come out. It's number 1 at the box office right now.
Well, there's not much out, so I can understand that.
Yeah, but it's gonna probably get steamrolled by Black Panther anyway.
Oh yeah, next week. A few more days.
It's probably gonna get steamrolled by that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, guess what my rating is? Thumbs down for it. So I wouldn't go see it ever again. I wouldn't go see one of these movies ever again.
At this point, man, we need a new rating just for movies like this.
Yeah, got to come up with a new rating system there, because like this was awful. Yeah. And 2 awful movies back to back for me, Winchester and this.
Yeah, it's not a tune out, man. Let's cut that bitch off.
Yeah, because 50 Shades, like this is definitely gonna be on my worst stuff list. Yeah, definitely gonna be on my worst stuff list. It's all said and done.
All right.
Yeah. So, moving on from talking about 50 Shades Free, gonna talk about the new. Hello, thanks for checking out our content. If you liked it, let us know, and if you didn't, let us know that as well. If you want to see more content, we post every Saturday on SoundCloud and YouTube at The Afternoon Tune. You can also find us through various social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all one word at The Afternoon Tune. And if you don't deal with any of that social media stuff, you can also find us through our email at theafternoontune@gmail.com. And don't forget to always stay